I often get depressed in Canberra's colder, darker months, so for the winter of 2019 I decided to ride my bicycle to the tropics. For this trip, I'd loosely planned a 7,000 kilometre, 3-month journey, an inland route to Cairns, and then a coastal route back to Canberra, all of which would be subject to change and improvisation as required. Well, here we are at Queensland's oldest pub, the Nindigully pub. I think it's been operating since 1864 or something. Anyway, they have free showers, which I want to go and check out. I've been chatting with a couple of people here from the Gold Coast. One of them offered me a lift to St. George, but I politely declined because I'd like to ride it. Well, I've had a shower, but not a shave. Wasn't really the right spot to have a shave, so let the stubble keep on growing. They do this crazy big hamburger, and it feeds about 5-6 people, something like that. And it comes with 1.5 kilos of chips too. I'm not sure what this crop is, but it does look a little bit out of place, given that this is the same environment we saw those drought-killed trees in. It just looks like plain old grass. It might be rice, but it's grown on a furrow, so I'm not really sure. This here is the Ballon River, Ballonne, with a beautiful flowering shrub in front of it. Not quite sure what this one is. And the weather is much nicer than... Well, this morning was pretty cold, to be fair. But it's funny, coming in here there were rice fields and there was just a lot of irrigated agriculture, and the pelicans had taken up residence. And it looked very tropical with the rice fields and the water birds all over the place. Houses on stilts too, which is something I hadn't seen prior to this. Well, that's another day drawing to a close. So just 10 kilometres back down the highway, I saw a whole family of pigs ripping a dead kangaroo apart. It was like roadkill, huge old big red, and this family of pigs was ripping it apart. It was pretty gross. But yeah, when I came along, the pigs just scattered, and I thought, good, I'm glad they're not charging me. But the other thing is, today has been really interesting in terms of moving through lots of different landscapes. I woke up in what was roughly equivalent to outback New South Wales, spent the morning riding through what looked to me like Southeast Asia with rice paddies and water birds and so on. Spent the middle of the day in and around the river with all of the blooming flowers, and that reminded me of spring down on the Murray. And then towards the end of the day, it got really green and like a savanna almost out here. I didn't take any footage or photographs because I was trying to make good time, but really, really pretty. And I'm camping now in kind of just typical farmland. Well, it's early morning now, sun's just rising, and I wanted to say that the really weird thing about this particular area in Queensland is just how quiet it is. Last night when I went out there, it was absolutely silent. It was like being in one of those quiet rooms where every wall is dampened and it's insulated and stuff. Not that I've been in one of those, but it felt like that. The stars were just insane, and it was just totally still. Here, there's no wind, and no animals were awake at that particular time. And so it's just incredibly silent. Very weird experience, actually. Well, it seems Queensland has taken it out of my stuff. I have a very small puncture in my sleeping mat, so much so that you blow it up the night before and then in the morning you can just touch the ground through it. So that's frustrating. Gonna have to find a way to fix that. And also, look at this rear tyre. Back at it. Back at its old ways, except this time more flat than previously. So I guess I'm gonna have to pull that off and see what happens when I pump the tube up. So what's basically happened here is that this patch has failed. On either side it's leaking, so I might just replace the tube for now. Well, I'm here in the small town of Surat, and they have a shower, so I'm going to have a wash and a shave. Got hot water, doesn't have electricity, but it's a shower, so you know, it'll do. I don't think I'll get all the way to Roma tonight, but there are some nice state forests in between here and there, so I'll make use of those. I went to the supermarket to get some supplies for the next leg, and every second person wanted to have a chat, from the ladies running the store through to a couple of schoolgirls who were on their way home. I think it was a novelty for them to see somebody travelling through their town by bicycle. Well, I'm just on the road past Surat. Roma is in that direction. Looking for a campsite. That one behind me was inadequate because it stank of cow shit. I originally wanted to camp at there's like a nature reserve about 15 k's down the road from here, but I got chatting with these two lovely young ladies down the street at Surat who were very inquisitive about why I had all this weight on my bike. And that kind of took an hour or so, which I'd planned to be riding in. But yeah, they were really funny. They must have been about 10 and 12 years old. Very curious at that age, kids are. So yeah, I'm gonna just head down the road and see what I can find. Hopefully there's something worth staying at. And I really love these grasses here. They're just so gorgeous. Well, I've found my campsite. See, there's no sun here. The sun is setting over there in that direction. I've chosen this site because I know the sun will rise somewhere over there tomorrow and therefore dry out my tent. So there's method to my madness. It's also got a nice little bench, cut down tree to sit on. So yeah, it seems like a nice enough campsite. And it doesn't smell like cow, so that's a bonus. Roma was really underwhelming. I don't think the weather helped, being overcast. I just felt today as though there was a huge amount of weight and I wasn't really getting anywhere. Anyway, I'm just having a bit of a low moment here. I guess I'm kind of just feeling like, why am I doing this, you know? I miss my piano. I miss my piano and I miss some of my friends Anyway, I'm just having a moment of reflection as well and thinking about what I've done so far and how it seemed like it would take forever to get to Leeton, and now I've done at least 4 or 5 times that distance since. I'm thinking what else I would have used this time for. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. Sometimes you just have to make a decision and stick with it, but I don't believe in falling for the sunk costs fallacy either. Anyway, hopefully Emerald is nice. Tomorrow's meant to involve a bit of climbing up to 600 metres, same elevation as Canberra. So I think it'll be slow going for the next few days until I get to Rolleston. Then to Mackay and then down the coast. And anyway, that's me over and out for tonight. Maybe tomorrow will be a better day. See you later. Well, I'm just here beside the Carnarvon highway between Roma and Injune. Much closer to Roma though. There's actually a lot of traffic on this road. Not right now, but it comes in fits and starts all at once because there's some roadworks up the other end there which periodically release the traffic. The traffic consists of pretty much 3 things: mining equipment, road trains with cattle and other goods, and caravans. And all of them are large and get in the way, and the shoulders on this road aren't very big. I guess the distances are big in Queensland and they want to cut down on the costs. I may get to Injune today, I don't know, it's hard to tell. It's about 70 k's and I'm stopping frequently because of all this traffic. Well, we've transitioned to a sort of a grassland here. What an incredible mountain. Such a plateau on the top there. I'm in June. The sign writer on the tourism sign actually said you can come at any time of year. Just outside Injune, I got myself a camping spot. This is all public land here. And I found myself a body of water. So, mattress, time to find the hole. Well, I couldn't find the leak, unfortunately. But, it's not a bad view. Well, I'm in the tent here, and look what I got for 89 cents. Packet of Silverside. There's a bunch of others in there too. I might go and get some more tomorrow. Just, you know, needs using, I guess. Don't want it thrown out. So, yeah, I'm going to have some food now and just left Injune, and it's a kind of an overcast day today. I'm just standing up on this cutting up here. 160 k's to go, so I think it'll take me a day and a half. Just to give you an idea of how dangerous this road is, we've got road trains, caravans, huge amount of traffic at the moment too. So they're both crossing, you know, coming from either direction, and then we've got this tiny little shoulder to the road. So by far the most dangerous road I've ever ridden on, and I can't wait till I can get off it. Well, today's been really slow going. It's about 12:30 and I've only done about 36 kilometers. But I'm nearly at the top of the escarpment, and then it's all downhill from there. I think we have another candidate for funny name, Lake Nugga Nugga. I don't know if that's how it's pronounced, but that's how I want to pronounce it. Anyway, this is the Arcadia Valley turnoff. I'm told that a fair bit of traffic goes down here, so perhaps there'll be a little bit less going forward here, hopefully. Actually, the locals pronounce it Rollston, which kind of makes sense. It doesn't look like it is of Germanic origin or anything, but so I'll try and correct my pronunciation in the future. Well, it's 15 k's until the place that I want to camp. But I've managed to have ridden through some of the world's stickiest mud, and a little bit of it's got caught in my mud guards and is making a horrible noise. So maybe I'll just have to put up with that until the campsite, I don't know. I've been trying to get it out, but I'll have to take the wheel off. Looks like we've got some fun times coming up. 10% gradient for 2.9 kilometers. The landscape's become very beautiful all of a sudden. Maybe it's because we're in the national park. Anyway, I'm going to head up here and see if I can find a spot on top of these rocks to camp. Well, I'm here in the Carnarvon National Park, and tonight I want to camp up there. But first I have to get this bike up there. So, looks like there's going to be a bit of sweating before I get to lie down. Beautiful to hear though, absolutely beautiful. Well, I've been tramping around looking for a campsite that would have a decent view, and this is the best I could find. It's not too bad, but given those gorgeous mountains in the background, I think I could have done a little bit better. Anyway, I don't know if it's possible to get my bike up here. I had to climb a rock wall to get here, so I may just go and grab the bottles and stuff. We'll see. See if I'll go back a different way and see if I'm able to find a way to get the bike up here. Well, that's a beautiful sunset. Shame I'm not up the top of the hill to capture it. Still looking for my bicycle. It's down here somewhere. I feel like a bit of an idiot, actually. I don't know where I've put it. I think I leaned it up against a tree somewhere. I don't know. I better find it quickly though, because the sun is setting. Oh my, it's beautiful. Beautiful. Well, I just lost my bike and just managed to find it. So I'm just going to set up the tent here where I know it's safe. I was really freaking out. I was down in the next gully, or the next two gullies, and had no idea how to get back up here. So I was really freaking out. I'm so glad I found it. Oh, I'm an idiot. Well, that's another day drawing to a close. That's another day drawing to a close. Sorry, I'm not wearing a shirt. It's very, very warm, actually. It's a very pleasant temperature right now, but I was very, very warm, running around looking for my bike earlier. I'd forgotten just how scary it is to be lost in the Australian bush, because it hasn't happened to me in a long time. Normally I can use landmarks and stuff to find my way. I was fortunate in this instance that I had the road, because I could always hear and see the road, but that was actually very scary. Yeah, so a few things today. I just want to say Carnarvon National Park is one of the most beautiful places I have ever been. And that's saying something. I really, really like this place. Is it worth it? Considering the roads, I would suggest just driving. But I wish I could spend time here photographing things. Spend a week here camping. So also at the truck stop, like rest area with the toilet just down the road, maybe 5k's, got chatting with a guy who was driving his van around. And then another vehicle pulled up with a trailer that said cycle tours. And the guy got out and immediately said, another one. And he was saying that him and his wife, he was actually from Canberra too, but he was saying him and his wife run paid cycle tours from St. George through to Emerald. They had just finished that one anyway. I think they probably do others as well. But he was saying they run a car at the front, a car at the back, cameras on some of the bikes and on both the cars. And they prosecute drivers. They prosecute drivers for not giving them space. The guy that was driving the van, the first guy, he was a bit dopey, to be honest. You can hear the road trains in the background. He said, what's up with this meter matters thing? He said, there is no meter to give, which is true on these roads, as I think I've shown. And the cycle touring guy, that riled him up. He said, first of all, it's not rubbish. He said, treat it as though it's your grandma on a bike. What would you do? Make a meter, slow down, and so on and so forth. I was detecting that actually his way of talking wasn't necessary. He was making this other guy feel bad for not knowing. And I said, you could just treat cyclists as you treat agricultural equipment. And the cycle touring guy was like, yeah, or horses or tractors or whatever. And I think that's a good analogy. Because, most of us cyclists also drive. And we know what it's like to have cyclists on the road. In Australia, there's always this cyclist versus driver mentality. Us versus them. Adversarial kind of rubbish. And I guess you would see it here on this road in particular, because it's the only road. There just isn't another road. So all the traffic has to share the space. That's just how it is. Today I saw some wide loads, which I think I took some footage of, that took up both lanes. And then had to navigate dealing with oncoming heavy equipment. You've got this combine that takes up both lanes, has to then navigate road trains coming the other way. Imagine if you throw a cyclist in there as well. The infrastructure just isn't up to what's being thrown at it, unfortunately. But, you know, we all just have to make the best with what we can. I saw fit to just get off the road a few times today. By my count, about five times. There were a few other times where I should have, but didn't. I needed to get a mirror. There was a time where a truck was coming towards me. I could hear it. I knew it was there. Da-da-da. What I didn't know was there was a truck behind me as well. And it overtook. I noticed the truck coming towards me veering into the shoulder on its side, and I thought, oh, there's something behind me. And so I moved over as much as I could. Good thing too, because yeah, that was I think less than 50 centimetres, probably 30 to 50 centimetres it came within. Yeah, I mean, it's understandable why people are dying on the roads. In lieu of better infrastructure, which is expensive, obviously, I said it would be nice to have a segregated cycleway, and this cycle dude just like dismissively laughed. He was like, yeah, right. Like, what's that going to cost? And he seemed like the kind of ex-public servant type, so I think he would know a thing or two about budgets. But, yeah, I don't know what the solution is. I think in the meantime we've all just got to treat each other respectfully on the roads and remember that we're all trying to get somewhere and trying to use the roads, and we've all got equal right to use the roads. Anyway, Carnarvon National Park is beautiful. I'm thinking about whether I should get up early tomorrow to catch the sunrise from one of the nice vantage points up on top of the spur that I was on earlier and got lost on. Maybe not. Maybe I'll just say call it quits and come back to this location at another time. Probably best to do that, I think. I'm running out of water. Tomorrow will be a lot warmer than today, and it's still 120 k's to Rolleston. So I think I'm just going to play it safe.